Hello, everybody. This is Preston Polder here with Pocket Jacks Comics, joined by hello, Big Steve, joined by my two partners in crime. I got John Lamont and Molby checking in. I think we all have pages tonight. So here on the Wednesday night stream, we get together with other people who are writing, and we share our work and critique. So this evening, I have some pages for Guinevere and the Divinity Factory issue 5. That's basically done. I got to write like the last couple pages on it. And then John's got Demonatrix. And how about you, Moby? Are we still doing the one?
Same, back to
same one.
basketball.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, and Moby, you were saying, and yes, there's a link down in the Discord if you want to get in on the show or what, join the Discord and post the script and the link to get here behind the scenes. It's all there. And Moby was saying, like, you've got some plans to grow the Discord because you were commenting that it's a pretty good resource for people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you're a new writer. I know the biggest aspect is fear. If you're looking for a supporting group, and as you could see from the panel right here, we're all from different walks of life and all that stuff, but we're writers and creators first. If you're looking for a strong, positive community to increase your skill, get better, get support, and at the same time get some tough love that's not antagonistic, trust me, you got to join the Discord. We're trying to grow it's a hub too. It's not just writing. We have if you're into music, we're trying to be, it's a safe community space, yet we still got hair under our arms, so you won't be censored.
Exactly. Hello, Larry. We have a very exciting video of a mouse, and okay, there we go. Awesome.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, so
at least his camera was pointed at his desk and
exactly. Yeah, could have been bad. All right, so
we're not CNN, fortunately.
Which pages do we want to start with today?
Say we start with the legend, John.
Okay, John. All right, Demonatrix. Well, fortunately, I think I already got this one pulled up. Let's share this one out. All right, John. What parts do you want to assign today?
All right. I think we're gonna do what we did last time. I'll just have you, Preston, read for Emmy. I don't think she has a whole lot of lines here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna read. I'll narrate and read for Lolita, and then the rest of you guys can just tag team.
Who's narrating?
I'll narrate.
You're narrating and reading for Lolita.
Sure, why not?
You think so little of us? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just listen to you talk. Go ahead.
She talks to a lot of people.
Okay.
I don't. Oh yeah, right. I was like, "What am I doing?" That's right.
You're reading everything. That's what you're doing.
I'm background.
Yeah.
Fine, Larry. You want to read for Lolita? It will make Preston happy.
Don't matter.
All right, you can read for Lolita.
Okay.
All right, and I'll just narrate then.
Who's employee?
I'll be the young scrappy employee.
Okay, all right.
That can be Molby, and then as I said, you guys can just kind of tag team. I got a lot of extras, so I'm not going to sign them all. So
sounds exciting. Let's do it.
All right. Previously on the Demonatrix, Emmy Ridley, upon discovering her evangelical's father's affair with her 16-year-old best friend, decided to get back at him by reading old lore books on summoning demons. But the demon took control of Emmy and murdered her father before leaving her body. Now Emmy is charged with murder while the demon Lolita is roaming the city. Interior shopping mall, Hot Topic, night. Lolita opens a tray of lipstick, tries on a shade. Not liking it, she puts it back, uses the sleeve of her baggy shirt to wipe it off, then try another shade.
Out of curiosity, have you described what Lolita looks like? Because you said she's a demon, right?
She transformed into human form.
Okay.
She can kind of shapeshift into human form.
Right.
Which is what she did in the previous pages. I probably should have clarified that.
Okay.
Yes, she shapeshifted into a human form, and now she just looks like an early 20-something female.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. 2 employees watch as Lolita tries various shades and returns them to the tray. Then one employee signals to the other to say something. The employee walks up to Lolita.
Excuse me, but you're going to have to pay for those. You can't just put them back.
But I don't like them.
Lolita finds a shade she likes.
That's nice.
She takes some matching mascara, puts that on.
I'm going to ask you to leave or I'm going to call the police.
Lolita closes the tray.
But I'm not done.
Yeah, you are.
The employee grabs Lolita by the arm, but she shoves him hard. He falls back, knocking over a clothing rack. Lolita spots a cute, sexy outfit on a mannequin. She strips nude in front of everyone and starts changing as everyone stares at her. Interior.
Having read a number of your scripts, I'm going to have to start doing like John Lamont tropes. And when you get like the supernatural hot chick who's getting butt naked, like, oh, that's a John Lamont right there.
Do you see the genitals though?
This is not the first time this has happened in a John Lamont script. All right,
I call them supernatural nymphomaniacs.
there you go.
There you go.
All right.
I even made a term for them. Yes, I love them.
All right.
Can't help myself. This script is all about it. That's
All right.
it's more than the last one.
Okay.
Interior nightclub. I'm dialing it up to 11. Interior nightclub night. Loud pulsating music. Lolita struts to the music. A young man, Gregory, approaches her.
Can I buy you a drink?
It's about time you asked.
Interior police station. Processing. Emmy faces forward, holds the sign with her name, date, and a number. Lights flash. Emmy faces the side, holding the same sign. Lights flash. Nightclub. Lolita downs a shot of hard whiskey.
Am I Lolita? No.
No, Larry is.
Got anything harder?
Police station. Processing. A female officer uses a handy wipe to cleanse Emmy's hand before pressing each finger against the glass panel. A green light digitally scans her fingerprints and displays them on the screen. Nightclub. Lolita downs another shot as Gregory stands in shock.
How are you still standing?
Lolita grabs him, pulls him close.
How about we get horizontal?
Juvenile Detention Center. Processing. A female guard cuts Emmy's once waist-long hair just above the shoulders. Interior, cheek crossover. Crammed into the back seat, Lolita and Gregory engage in intercourse. Juvenile Detention Center. Showers. Emmy shivers under the shower as blood and dirt washes off her and down the drain. Cheek crossover. Lolita gets off Gregory, moving to the side. He zips up his pants.
I want you to take me back to your place.
This was fun and all, but don't get any ideas.
Lolita leaps at him, grabs his crotch.
You will take me to your place.
Okay, fine.
Juvenile.
All right. I gotta think this scene would be different if Quentin Tarantino wrote it. It would be like, I'm sick of this motherfucking demon. All right.
Juvenile Detention Center. Cell. Emmy crawls into bed, wrapping the thin blanket around her freezing body. Her cellmate, an overweight woman, engages in a yelling conversation with another inmate down the cell block. Gregory's apartment.
You need to write what that conversation is.
Don't
be lazy. Don't be lazy. All right, go ahead.
I'm letting the actors improvise.
Oh, of course you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gregory's apartment. Gregory leads Lolita into the basement of his mom's house.
You live with your mom? That's pretty pathetic. Don't worry, it's just for tonight. Got a shower?
Gregory points to the corner. Bathroom. Lolita takes a hot shower. Apartment. Lolita enters the enters the bedroom, or returns to the apartment. She exits the bathroom nude. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry.
The nude word 3. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take your clothes off. It's time to go to bed.
Gregory sheepishly gets undressed and gets into bed. Lolita joins him. Interior Juvenile Detention Center meeting room. Day. Julia Yancey, an attorney from the Public Defender's Office, enters the meeting room, finding Emmy sitting at the table by herself. Yancey smiles, taking a seat.
Emerald Riley, right? I'm Julia Yancey with the Public Defender's Office. I'm your court-appointed counsel. Your arraignment is in 2 hours, and we have a lot to go over. I have some experience with battered women cases, and I'm thinking we can go self-defense.
Emmy stares at her.
You walk in on your father and best friend, a minor, having sex. You're rightfully upset. An argument. Maybe he hit you. You're in fear for your life.
Oh yeah, I'll be answering. The
Press
evidence.
Oh, I'm Emmy. I didn't do it. The evidence. I was possessed by a demon. Insanity plea. The truth. I didn't mean for it to happen. I just wanted to be free of him. I found this old book on demonology in our church library. One of the rituals was on summoning.
Let me take your answer.
Okay,
man.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's your choice. You plead self-defense. I can get you free on bail.
That is bullshit. No fucking way. No fucking way. Are they going to discover this woman in her dad's blood? So the attorney's like, oh, she was crazy. And the judge is like, no bail. Go for it. Like, no fucking way.
Hey, man.
That's not no bail. That's free on bail. Like, she pays bail and she's out.
I highly doubt that, but all right.
But you know what? We can talk about that because actually you know more about this crap than I do. Okay. So we can talk about that. Because I don't really know.
Order,
I'm kind of, going off of my limited knowledge of Law and Order. But anyway.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot where I was at. Where was it?
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I can get you free on bail. If you plead demons, you're looking at staying at a state hospital until this is over.
I don't deserve to be free.
I'll start drawing up the paperwork. I'll get you some clean clothes for court.
Thanks, Steve. We'll include you in the conversation too.
Exactly.
Interior, Gregory's apartment day. Gregory awakes as Lolita dresses.
What now?
I'm leaving. I told you it was only one night. Did you not listen?
Greg, honey, you awake. Breakfast is ready.
Lolita sniffs. She races up the stairs. Gregory leaps out of bed.
Wait.
He's halfway up the steps after her when he realizes he's still naked, so he grabs his boxers.
Give me 1 minute. I don't mean to interrupt you, man. This part it's funny. So the mom, they just had sex, and mom just offers him breakfast.
Like, whatever, it's all good. You know what? We need to insert a line from the mom. Greg, honey, you awake? Breakfast is ready. I made another one for the bitch you were fucking all night.
You guys are good. No, you're getting way ahead of yourself.
Okay, all right. Fair.
Keep scrolling.
Okay.
But I'm glad you get to enjoy this because this is really meant to be a light. It's not meant to be a super dark, super serious story.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you guys are laughing.
The subject matter.
No, it's yeah.
John, I don't think this is how.
Seems like are they in the
hood? John, I don't think that's how a mother tells her son how he was born.
He's a bit of a simp, so don't worry about it.
Definitely.
All right. Gregory's mom's house kitchen. Lolita enters the kitchen, startling Gregory's mother.
That smells good.
The woman turns sharply as Gregory makes it to the top of the steps, panting.
Gregory, what did I tell you about bringing strange women around the house?
Lolita picks up the pan off the stove, holding it with one hand. She shovels the food into her mouth with the other.
Who is this woman?
I'm Lolita.
Lolita?
Lolita fingers the eggs and bacon from the pan into her mouth.
God, your name's Lolita. Please don't tell me you're under 18.
I'm way over. Oh, this is so good. I might have to come back tomorrow for breakfast.
Oh, Lolita, that reminds me of a Vaseline. Man.
Oh, Vaseline. Okay.
Dear, I
think you ain't no Condoleezza.
Condoleezza Rice. Dear, I think it's time you should leave.
Lolita licks her fingers, having emptied the pan before letting out a loud belch. She drops the pan into the sink.
You love this character. I've seen this character. Well, this is the same character from Blood Feud.
Similar, yes.
Yeah.
Similar characteristics, but this is taking the
All
idea
right,
that
I'm sorry. By that I mean they are both young, thin, frequently naked, supernaturally powerful, with low impulse control.
Whoa.
Outside of that, they're probably quite different, but in those characteristics.
it's a similar character taken in a different direction.
Okay.
That's smart. That's smart right there. Recycle. Nothing wrong with that.
I like the character. I can't.
I see that. Okay.
All right.
We need a Lolita.
Yes. Thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for the fucking.
Lolita heads
And crude. Sorry.
Yeah.
And crude.
Lolita heads out of the house. Exterior courthouse. Inmate entry. Teens are escorted off a correctional bus. Emmy, wearing a torn but nice hand-me-down dress, stands in line as the teens are patted down.
If I be the thug,
All right. Derelict housing block day. Rundown houses, graffiti, broken down cars turned into potting boxes. 3 thugs stand outside a crack house as Lolita walks down the sidewalk.
Smile for me, girl.
Lolita looks up at them, giving a huge grin.
Hi.
She walks up.
Oh, my bad.
She walks up to them.
Yeah. Are you holding?
The thug leader scratches his crotch.
Whatever you want, mama.
Lolita pulls the elastic on her miniskirt and produces a wad of cash. The thug leader checks her out, notices she's not wearing panties.
How much will this get me?
She hands the wad to him. He ruffles through it.
I would ask how we are knowing that he recognizes her not wearing panties.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a girl carry cash in the elastic of her skirt?
Well, I would say if he
I'd say, the line reads, the thug leader checks her out, notices she's not wearing panties.
I got you.
I would say you
That's
go.
what the line reads.
I say go full thug. Just have him, tap her in the ass. Then he knows.
Yeah. See, there we go.
I'll consider it.
All right.
So she hands the wad to him, and he ruffles through it.
I'm not sure this is enough. Our stuff is primo.
I mean, he could quote a quantity, right?
I don't know how much it's supposed to go for.
Well,
but you don't refuse the sale. You just negotiate down on quantity. You just go, well, our stuff is primo. How about a joint?
John, you listen to Preston Law and Order. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right. If you're gonna ask me to suck your cock, I've had my fill of cum for this trip.
All right.
How else will I know you're not a cop?
Do I look like a fucking cop?
You ain't one. Oh my bad. You ain't one of my regulars, and you got no track marks.
Well, she's going for the hard stuff.
Yeah. There are other places
You can ingest.
You can ingest, right?
Lolita rolls her eyes.
What if I rip out your buddy's throat? Would that convince you?
The thug leader arches a brow, but before anyone can react, Lolita rips out the nearest thug's larynx. Blood explodes. He coughs and chokes.
What the fuck?
Are you going to sell me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Are you going to sell me this shit, or am I going to take it by force?
The thug leader pulls out a pack of cocaine from his pocket, hands it to her.
Take it.
All right. You said track marks, which is more indicative of heroin. Now, some people do inject cocaine, but not like it's so universal that the guy would be like, I don't see any track marks. So if he's selling coke, I would not expect the track mark line.
I probably got it wrong because I don't know drugs. I don't do drugs.
I'm here for you on drugs. I'm here for you on bail. Don't worry about it.
All right,
I'm here. I volunteer to be your underworld connection, and if other people have some street experience, feel free to chime in. Big Steve is volunteering.
On the next exciting episode of Preston Law.
All right, so we're going to assume that that's heroin, not cocaine.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
Oh,
Take,
right.
take it, whatever.
So Lolita turns to the other thug, snaps her fingers. He hands her a small case.
Thank you.
Lolita walks into the crack house. Interior crack house moving. Lolita enters the house. What it lacks in furniture, it makes up for in drugged-out vagrants and piles of feces. Lolita checks the living room, heads upstairs, and eventually finds herself a moderately clean corner to sit down. From the case, she takes out the needle and prepares the cocaine or heroin, and one of the vagrants watches, smacking his lips. She notices, waves him off. Melting the heroin, she fills the entire needle, enough to overdose an army. Leaning back, she hovers the tip of the needle over her eye, squeezing the entire syringe directly into her eyes. Leaning back against the wall, she closes her eyes as they cure up. She rubs them.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Let me be the judge. Let's press on. What's the judge? Yeah.
Interior courtroom day. Julia Yancey stands. She looks reassuringly at Emmy, sitting beside her, then addresses the judge.
The defense has been charged with the murder of Bruce Allen Riley, the defendant's father, by...
The judge pushes his glasses back, reading, pauses, looks at Emmy, then looks down at the brief.
ripping out his internal organs and crushing his skull with...
The judge checks his papers, is more confused than disgusted.
her bare hands.
He looks at Emmy again, the prosecutor, then Yancey. He closes the file.
How does your client plead?
I don't remember who Yancey
Oh,
was.
I'm Yancey. Yeah.
I don't remember.
The sheer brutality of the murder
No.
from
Yes,
that's above, my bad. My client believes she was possessed by the devil and has no recollection of the events that evening.
The judge removes his glasses.
The sheer brutality of the murder from someone with no history of violent or criminal behavior, plus there is evidence of emotional and psychological abuse by the victim against the defendant.
The judge looks over at the prosecutor, who nods.
As such, the defense requests Miss Riley undergo psychiatric treatment for no less than 90 days in a state mental health facility so we can determine her competency to stand trial. I'm gonna just say one thing. I think you might just remove the 90 days and just say she gonna stay in the state penitentiary because that's murder. You know.
Yeah.
Prosecutor leans forward.
Breast.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
And the gavel slams. That's the end of that page, I believe.
Okay. All right. So we have some supernatural sluttery, supernatural use of hard drugs, and in very, very gruesome fashion. Running around with no panties. Very enjoyable pages. So.
I'm glad.
I do 90 days on my head. Exactly. Big Steve's like, that ain't shit. Larry.
Yes.
Would you like to say something positive?
Positive? Okay.
Yeah.
There was good flow. No hang-ups or breaks or anything like that didn't really fit. I'm interested to see where it's going because I really don't really know how the two stories are going to link up in the end. So that should be interesting.
Molby.
Well, me, I'm gonna just say something controversial, but I'm proud that I've been beaten for the Child Abuse Award. So,
there you go.
John,
Wait, no child abuse.
you can accept the award. You know what I mean? I can now return to being a citizen that goes to church. So,
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no child abuse.
sir, she was abused and demonic. You've outdone me. I've been put down now. I'm rated PBS.
Yeah, at least my character's 17. Yours was 6.
This will not sound right, man, when somebody starts listening to this on YouTube.
All right.
No, but it flowed well, man. To me, it's written where you're allowing it to flow. It's not, it's serious, but at the same time, it's not too serious. The characters aren't taking themselves too seriously, and it's running well, man. This is smooth, man. As Preston would say, it's like a smooth whiskey.
There you go. There you go. All right. Constructed. Okay, so I want to go through these, and I'm actually going to pull the script back up here. And all right, so let's start. I'm just going to go scene by scene because I've like my criticism in the past has been that you tend to cut your scenes a little short. Like I think like there's more that you can get out of there. So let's start this scene here in the courtroom. All right. I don't understand why this scene exists.
Because the next time we see Emmy, she's in the state hospital.
But we could just be in the state hospital, and there could be one line of dialogue going, "You're here for evaluation as per the judge's orders." And then we don't need this scene. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so I just saved you, page and a quarter. So now we can go, okay, so let's go here for Crack House. I'm really, all right, so we're following Lolita through her demonic day as she goes from eating breakfast to negotiating a drug deal, committing a murder, and, shooting up in a crack house. All right, why do these scenes exist?
It's more or less answered later.
Okay.
That she has 72 hours on Earth.
Okay. All right.
So she's living it up.
Okay. Fair enough. My question to you would be when you're writing a scene, I want you to think what emotions you want the audience to get out of this. And I'm hoping you want the audience to be kind of shocked. Or maybe if they're really into the same kind of crazy shit that you are, perhaps aroused. One of the two, I guess, should be okay. But just, as we're walking with Lolita through her day here from Hot Topic to the club, I mean, we really spend a lot of time with Lolita.
She's doing things. I mean, she's just kind of going through the process of being charged.
And for that matter, the Yancey, unless Yancey becomes an important character later,
never see her again.
Then you don't need this scene. Again, that one line of dialogue of the judge sent you here for evaluation can replace both the arraignment and the meeting of the defense attorney.
That would probably also fix all my problems with not knowing proper court jargon.
Exactly. You don't got to worry about the court jargon. You don't got to worry about like she's going to get you out on bail. Okay, well, who's going to provide the bail money, right? Because it damn sure ain't going to be the defense attorney. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I was assuming a bail bondsman or something like that.
The bail. Okay, so here's how bail works. They're going to set a number, right? So let's say, this is like aggravated murder. So 50,000, minimum. So someone has to come up with 10% of that, like hard cash, like $5,000. So, unless you got friends who
have enough McDonald's working the summer money.
Right. So that's where, but fortunately we cut the line by saying for future reference, the defense attorney is going to be like, we'll negotiate a bail amount. You're going to need somebody with some deep pockets. But again, like if this scene doesn't really sort of, other than just, if this is just kind of exposition of, oh, hey, look at this, Julie's going, or no, what Emmy's going through, criminal procedure, we don't need it. So now we can spend more time with Lolita. And, I feel like back here, and again, I'm not exactly sure why we're spending time with Lolita, but we're spending time with Lolita. So let's make it entertaining. I want there to be a little bit more dialogue. I want it to be like a little more Quentin Tarantino-esque. So here, when she's with the employee, right? Like I want this scene to be bigger because I feel like there could be more here. So, you know, the employee comes up, he's like, excuse me, you're going to have to put those back. Yeah, you can't. And Lolita's, you know, responds, I don't like them. Lolita finds the shade she likes. All right, that line probably is cheating, because really, what does it mean that she finds the shade she likes? Does it mean she selects one out of the tray, picks it up, opens the cap, puts it on, looks in the mirror and judges, and then smiles? Is that what it means? Then that's what I want you to write, which would be 3 lines instead of 1. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then, you know, and then she can say, okay, that's nice. And then, you know, she takes some matching mascara and puts that in. Again, that should be, you know, a little bit more on the line there. But the employee, I feel like he could have a little bit more to say, a little bit more entertaining things to say than, I'm going to have to ask you to leave, or I'm going to call the police. You know, like that employee, you could have him say all kinds of shit. That would be more compelling, you know? So I feel, so my advice would be to, you know, to cut the scenes that don't really serve a whole lot of purpose other than just exposition of what's happening to Emmy, and to really put more life and entertainment value in the Lolita scenes. But even there, I'm like, why are we following this demonic woman? But anyway, whatever. So that's my question.
So okay, so I'll just say this one thing. So in hopes that I don't sound too defensive.
Sure.
The objective of jumping back and forth was to juxtapose what Lolita's doing and what basically how Lolita doesn't give a shit about what's going on to Emmy.
But but why would we think that Lolita would care?
I'm showing that she doesn't.
Okay, but yes, but that's not that's not, I don't think, emotionally impactful, because I think the audience doesn't expect that a demon would care. I think the audience expects a demon's a demon. Now, if this was like juxtaposed and this was like her mom or somebody that the audience would be like, you ought to care about your daughter. Now it's emotionally impactful because we're showing a violation of a sacred trust, you know, if we make this like a loved one. But the relationship between Lolita and Emmy is demon and summoner. And anyone that has any kind of roleplay experience is going to tell you demons don't give a shit about you, for that matter.
It doesn't. And that's exactly what I'm trying to
do. And you show it, but the thing is, you're showing something that doesn't violate, I don't think, any reasonable expectation of your audience. Like they're pretty much going to be seeing exactly what they would expect to be seeing. They're going to see a demon acting like a demon, and Emmy's going to be taking a hard fall. Right. I mean, you know, and in like Requiem for a Dream, you know, as we're watching everyone kind of taking their hard fall together, Requiem for a Dream has kind of set it up like, here's druggie A, here's druggie B, here's druggie C. They're each taking their own individual drugs of choice on their own individual path to hell. But there is kind of a unity of their decline. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's like the one guy is getting his arm amputated. The other guy is in jail. And the Jennifer Connelly character is forced to do the grading sex act. Like they're each arrived at their own hell, and we're jumping from character to character to character, which creates kind of this overarching, you know, as the audience member, you're like, drugs are bad, yo. So, you know, Requiem for a Dream. But here, you know, I'm just saying, like, you can see the emotional impact and what they're going for. Here, I don't think, well, I've already said it, but.
Okay. No, I followed you all the way through.
Okay. All right, Larry.
Well, you made up some good points I probably wouldn't have thought of. But now that you have, I guess the only reason to show those scenes is just, you know, for pure entertainment value, I guess.
Sure. Which is where I'm like, you got to make them entertaining. You got, you know, like I want Lolita to be like picking up some shit at Hot Topic, you know, and like either, you know, give me this is gourmet shit, yo, or God, it's good to be back, or, you know, give me more compelling stuff. I want more juice out of these scenes, you know.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying, yeah. So yeah, I don't really think I have anything to add on top of what you just said, because.
Well, you know, now that, you know, after thinking about what Preston said, I think you need to just add more, you know, emotion on her, and like if she's crying or signs of despair,
Right.
even during the drug use, maybe some tears. You want to show that she's
Right.
in
Yeah.
pain, a human. Kind of like there'll be some empathy. Okay, she pulled out these thugs, body parts and all, but why is she crying?
No, it's not
What's wrong with her? That way you add a little,
Well,
a
yeah. I
little
mean,
more,
if it would be
just a
if your
little.
goal was, I want to show everybody how remorseful and sad and broken Emmy feels, that would be something.
Uh, create some
Yeah.
empathy. You got some tears going down her eyes. That type. It's kind of like you're possessed and you could see everything you're doing, but you can't do
Exactly.
That would
nothing
be
but
an
cry.
interesting way to do it. To
You
have
know?
a sort of mental connection between them, since she was the gateway into the Earth, basically, right? Maybe you can put that sort of connection together so that Emmy's sort of feeling some weird things that are going on while Lolita is out doing these crazy things. Just a thought.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Maybe that would sort of add to her madness. Why they throw her into an institution and just don't lock her up, basically.
Well, they throw into an institution because she said she was possessed by a demon.
Well, I know.
It's 2020
Oh, yeah.
and demons don't exist. And everybody thinks she's crazy.
Oh,
They're like,
yeah,
no, she's crazy. She's not possessed by a demon.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Another thing is you could replace those scenes with the mental
That
hospital.
might be
Showing,
stronger
how you got
for
those men.
for an emotional connection.
Yeah, there we
is
go.
to show her in the institution and kind of dealing with the aftermath and processing what happened and what she did and all of that.
And then if you really wanted to keep the Yancy character, you could turn her into a doctor instead of a lawyer.
She's an extra. I pulled the
Yeah.
name out of my butt.
Still.
Kind of like a
Kind
shrink.
of like a shrink. Exactly.
Yeah.
You could, and then with the mental hospital, you could have
Yeah,
her
like
interact
like
with
there
some
she can actually be
people.
taught instead of Yancey. See, if we go to the mental hospital, and we were about to go there, but in our revamp of these pages, where we're not going to do the arraignment, we're not going to do the defense attorney. Like now we're interacting with a mental health worker who can explain, like, you're here on judge's orders. I'm here to evaluate you. But this can be someone who is more professionally concerned with her well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Share screen. All right. So now we got some back to school. Okay. By the way, everybody, the Simptagion is on Kickstarter right now. There is a link in the description. You should totally go back it, by the very talented Molby. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It means a lot, people. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. It's, it's gonna. You might want to be bitten by a hyena after reading it.
All right. So we got Riggs Richards, Principal Goldberg. Were we on page 30 or?
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the right page.
Okay.
What is it? 3 pages, 10
Yeah.
each. Yeah, that's right. That's about right. Well, I guess Larry, John, you could be Goldberg.
Goldberg.
I Preston, the Riggs, and I'll be the narrator.
All right.
In fact, nah, Larry, you could be the narrator, man.
Okay.
All right. I'll do the reading. Okay. So we got page 30.
Yeah.
Riggs gets on his knees.
Sir, I beg you, give us another chance. I mean, if we don't pass high school, I have to say goodbye to my sons and my ass in that order, sir.
I'm not going to expel you. All that would be too easy. But you're going to be next on my shit list, starting now.
Principal Goldberg pulls a lever by his desk, and Riggs, Chad, and Tyrone fall through a trapdoor below. Yet as Tyrone falls, he flips Principal Goldberg the bird.
Enjoy flipping me off, because I'm going to make sure make this school year a reason for your suicide.
Cut to internal pipe system. Riggs, Chad, and Tyrone are sliding down on a long slide below the office. Riggs is screaming for his life. Riggs is screaming
for his life, probably.
Oh, for his life. Well, Chad and Tyrone laugh. The slide leads to a sewer where an alligator misses leaping to bite them, and then they fall out of a large pipe towards a pond outside of the school. Cut to exterior pond, outdoor kitchen.
You would be the Chef John, remember?
All right.
Chef Big Bowl, heavyset gentleman wearing chef uniform helps the boys out of the pond.
Look at here, new assistant cooks. How kind of the principal.
I ain't no cook, bruh.
I ain't the asking type, son. You boys can either cook or be expelled. Will it be?
Tyrone places his hand around the chef and begins to walk with him towards the outdoor kitchen.
Well, my mama did always tell me that if I wasn't in sports, that I would be in the kitchen. So lead on, sir.
Fade 2, Riggs, Chad, and Tyrone are lined up facing Chef Big Bow, who have a large pole tent behind him that is zipped closed.
Now, boys, before we cook, we must prepare the meat for the meal.
Chef Big Bow unzips the tent to reveal a live pig with a rope around its neck, with the rope hanging over a branch, a large plastic container full of frogs, a fish tank full of a large fish, and a chicken coop.
Now, I'm going to need a volunteer to get this thing started. So who's got the balls to get this cooking started? Now just step right out or out the side.
Chad steps up. Chef Big Bow.
Preston.
Okay.
Chad steps up. Chef Big Bow walks him up to the pig. Sorry.
Sir, you want me to do what exactly?
I need you to pull that rope until you hang that pig dead.
Are you out of your mind? I'm not.
Chad turns back and proceeds to walk away.
So, Mulby, I don't know if you've upgraded or downgraded, but we've gone from torturing children to torturing animals.
Hey, man. I'm just pushing
We're just pushing the envelope here.
There it is.
Just understand that if you don't, you will all be expelled.
Chad walks back and grabs the end of the rope. Tears begin to form.
Now pull, boy.
Chad pulls the rope, and the higher it gets, the more tears he sheds. The pig begins to squeal as it's hanging by the rope around its neck. Riggs covers his eyes.
Well,
Tyrone will...
This is gruesome.
Yeah.
Just when I thought we got a
You're hanging that poor pig. Oh man,
Preston, you're from Texas, man.
Yeah.
This happens every day.
There's a special device they use for the slaughter of pig. It takes them out. It takes them right out.
Yeah.
Riggs covers his eyes
before they're slaughtered for food.
Yeah.
The Boltgun. Riggs covers his eyes. Tyrone watches with a look of shock.
You hear that squealing? That's going to make the flavor more bold. Keep it up.
Chad drops to his knees and starts to loudly cry, releasing the pig now that's on the ground laying on its side.
Remember what's at stake here, y'all. Freedom, boy. It's either this dead pig or the pigs in blue reporting to your folks that your anus shattering in prison is what killed you.
Tyrone walks towards Chad with tears in his eyes and helps him up to his feet as Riggs faints from behind.
Let me help you, bro. We're in this together, remember? Oh,
Thanks.
Both Tyrone and Chad pull the rope, and the pig shakes and squeals and eventually stops and defecates.
Oh, even better.
Chef Big Mo runs towards the defecation and picks it up and smells it.
You know, now we figured out both what my fetish in writing is, and now we figured out what Mulby's.
Sir, I'm a good Christian man.
There we go.
I left Christianity a long time ago.
All right,
Now,
John.
that's the smell of a painful death, though it has a hint of hope before it died, which might come to harm the flavoring.
Harm the flavor.
Harm? Oh, harm the flavoring.
Yes. Both Chad and Tyrone let go of the rope and the pig. They hung. Pig falls to the ground and they hug one another in tears. Okay, got it.
Chad, it's okay, man. We had no choice. Bro.
Cut to interior confessional room. Chad is facing the camera in tears.
I won't lie.
Chad.
I aware of the fact that all the meat we eat is from a slaughterhouse, but to have been the one to put that animal down as I just did.
Chad just stares at his hands in silence. The new producer hands Chad a napkin. He rubs his eyes.
Thank you.
Chad rubs his face and then blows his nose, which is now covered in snot.
You'll edit this scene out, right?
Sure thing. This is gold. Don't you edit a thing out. Keep it rolling.
One, this wouldn't be a conversation you would have until later. But I know that you want to get the joke across, so I understand the purpose of the line. But I think you could have the producer just be so like, oh, sure thing, and just be so insincere in the way he's doing it that we understand that.
Fingers crossed behind his back.
Yeah.
That's not.
I never considered becoming a vegan until today. That's for sure. And I just don't know if I can forgive myself for what I've done.
Chef Big Bow washes his hands, runs towards Riggs, who has fainted, pours water from a bottle on him, and Riggs gets up.
What?
Well, Sleeper, you're going to have the big honor of choking them fish until they are swimming with the fishes, as they say in the mob films.
Chef Big Bow walks Riggs towards the fish tank.
Riggs, I need you to choke these fish in the water and keep an eye contact as it adds to the flavor. In fact, let me show you how it's done. In fact, let me show you how it's done on one of them.
Chef Big Bow places his hand on a hand in the fish tank and wraps his hand around the fish's neck and squeezes, and the fish splashes under the water. And when it stops, he lets go and it floats to the top. Riggs places his hand inside and grabs the fish, which splashes so hard that he accidentally tosses it out of the fish tank.
I prefer it be done in the tank, but outside won't hurt. You get it done, Riggs.
Riggs gets on his knees and chokes the fish until it stops splashing, and he tosses it in the fish tank. A montage of Riggs choking out every fish in the tank until it rises to the surface dead.
These hands, they're no longer hands that jerk. They are hands that kill. Oh, God, what have I become?
Chef Big Bow grabs Riggs' hands.
You're a chef, Riggs. This is our path. Hands covered in blood that feed the hungry.
But was it worth the loss of my innocence?
That's in your hands.
By innocence, a different spelling.
Oh, my bad.
Riggs runs away and sits down on the ground and stares at his hands.
Last but not least, it's your turn, Tyrone.
But I helped with the pig.
That was Chad's responsibility, though both I and him would thank you for the help. It's your turn. I need you to bitch slap those frogs until their legs fall off.
Tyrone walks towards the frog tank with Chef Big Bow by his side.
Just follow my lead.
Chef Big Bow grabs the frog and slaps it so hard its legs pop off and fall into the bowl below. Then Tyrone does the same and slaps the frog so hard that his legs pop off and his tongue pops out. Fade out. Moments later, a Chinese announcer is introducing Principal Goldberg, Palmy, and Hungry Baby, a chubby baby who are S.
Oh, my bad. Don't worry about that. That could be you, John.
Today, our special guest and judges, Principal Goldberg, still hungry even after breastfeeding a chubby baby. And last but not least, he has blessed us with his presence. Palmy. Our chefs and father, who has named all 23 of his sons Michael Jordan Riggs Richards.
The spotlight shines over Riggs, who is waving to the audience.
Thank you. And if you're watching, love you, all my sons. An athlete who has won not only games but the hearts of women all throughout the nation, Tyrone Pimpton.
A spotlight shines on Tyrone as he waves.
Just remember to cop the pimpin' sky strikes at your local shoe store.
An actor without fear who has saved the world and slain the hearts of women throughout the nation, Chad Thundercooks.
The spotlight is on Chad, who isn't waving nor smiling.
Let's get this over with.
Chad pushes a tray with the plates full of ribs and pulled pork sandwiches.
This was I Just Eat It.
Chad places the meals on the table. Hungry Baby is being fed by Chef Big Bow. He eats the food, then burps loudly. Palmy pulls out a knife and fork and takes one small piece of each meal, while bare-handed Principal Goldberg grabs the food and eats like a savage.
Judge your verdict on the first meal.
Too much hope on the pig. Oh, I'm sorry. Too much hope on the pig has lowered the richness of the flavor. I give this 3 stars.
Wah. Tyrone places the baked frog legs on the table of the judges.
These are curry baked frog legs. Please enjoy.
Chubby Baby crawling on the table eats the frog legs as Chef Big Bow claps. Principal Goldberg tosses the frogs right into his mouth and swallows it whole. Palmy smells it, then tosses it on the ground.
Paul, me really, bruh? After you drove my whip? Yes, you do look like an animal.
Chinese announcer in Chinese.
I think that's supposed to be indented.
Oh, my bad.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Oh wait. Okay. So is
You
this
were
a
reading
line?
It's supposed to be dialogue.
The line, yeah, sorry.
But it's dialogue in Chinese. But judges your verdict on the second meal. All right.
It really felt like the flavor of hopped right into my mouth. It's 5 stars. Grr. Palmy, what do you mean only an animal would eat this filth? Oh. Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Riggs places the cooked fish on the table.
What you're about to eat, dare I say, was hand strangled by me and seasoned with the freshest herbs and spices.
Principal Goldberg smells the fish and then actually uses a fork and a knife to eat. Palmy pulls out his chopsticks and starts to eat, and Chubby Baby is smiling as he chews. Cut 2. Palmy, Principal Goldberg are holding Riggs on their shoulders and who is holding up a trophy.
The judges have spoken, Riggs. Richards is our winner.
The audience tosses flowers. Fade 2, history class, afternoon.
You could be the professor.
Professor Fredericks, an African-American male. Professor Fredericks, an African-American male in his 40s, is standing on top of his desk speaking to his class. Chad still seems to be feeling very traumatized by what he did to the pig. Tyrone seems captivated as he can't take his eyes off the professor, and Riggs is sound asleep.
Go, John.
Go, John.
That motherfucker Christopher Columbus got to America by mistake, but to pretend that he didn't find and brutally torture the natives there now, that is a sin this nation should no longer commit. One thing about America's past, present, and future seems to always be bloodshed and sin, for be it freedom, discovery, and success will not end with me, and I'm afraid neither will it end in your lifetime, students, for you see this nation beats to the drum of violence and sacrifice.
Cut 2, interior English class, afternoon. All the students are sitting down, staring at an empty desk. Since the teacher isn't in the class yet, Riggs is asleep. Chad is face down on his desk. Tyrone is looking at his watch.
John, you would be the students.
Looks like the teacher's running late. So anyone up for a game of tic-tac-toe?
Your mom sat on my Jimmy too hard. I can't get up to play. I'm still sore.
Whatever, asshole.
Fade 2. Tyrone is playing tic-tac-toe with a student from before. He is just about to lose.
You're good, but I'm clutch.
I'm better than good. I'm godly.
Cut to the interior confessional room. Tyrone is facing the camera.
I always thought that tic-tac-toe was a bitch-ass game. But the way that dude played was straight goat. Man, I tried and never won a single game. And I even think the bastard let me get close to winning so he could just snatch victory from my grasp like a hungry ass hawk.
Fade 2 15 minutes later.
All right, so that's 10 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, funny, you know. It's tough to give notes on comedies because comedy itself is tough. You know, you can't just go make something funny or whatnot. But you got a lot of outrageous situations. You have very creative imagination setting up lots of outrageous situations that certainly have a lot of stuff to mine for jokes. So,
it's the class clown in school, man.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, it's all good.
I suspect Moby traveled back in time and wrote the script for Porky's. Man, I remember Porky's fondly. Ooh, yeah, there were so many naked women in that movie. Anyway.
Oh, it's good. Like I said last time, it's a great little goofy comedy with a lot of sight gags and stuff like that. So you're definitely on the right path if that's the way you're going for it. So
right.
I enjoyed it. There was a lot of, I mean, even the animal torture, it's like horrible, but it's sort of like that absurd, hilarious, horrible because it would never happen, but you're. It's like those gross out moments you see in a lot of comedies. So, yeah.
John?
Yeah, always a hoot when you bring pages, Mulby.
Yeah.
Always a hoot.
Yeah. I don't know. Really, I mean, the constructive stuff I tended to go over, like, you know, your formatting, you know, needs work, and grammar, and you gotta break up your action lines. But on that,
should make an entertaining book. Anyway, yeah.
So, yeah, John, you got any constructives?
The only thing I would say is that it's starting to feel a bit episodic in some of these scenes, like a series of Saturday Night Live sketches.
Yeah.
Like we go from one sketch that it's got this kind of comedic thing, you know. Like for example, we spent a lot of time with the chef, and then we did the torturing the animals to cook them, and then that payoff of that joke was the whole eating competition.
Right.
And then now that that's over, we move on to a completely different thing. And because this was kind of not even, it's not a run, the food thing is not a running thing. It's a one-time thing. It came up, we did it, we did the joke, we move on to the next thing. So it kind of gives it a bit of that Saturday Night Live, you know, this is a series of sketches that just string one after the other, which kind of also reminds me of some of the previous scenes, like how the whole script kind of feels that way, as I recall the other pages. So I don't know if that's, I think it's lacking I think we kind of mentioned this last time, but it's just kind of lacking a bit of a through line through all of this. Yes, there's the overarching, we don't want to go back to prison, which I just, because I don't feel that it's strong enough on its own. That's kind of where some of these seem like they're funny little scenes, but they feel kind of disjointed and there's no overarching plot. Like these gags and jokes could go on forever. Like you've got 50 pages of them here, but honestly, you could do it for 90. You could do it you could go on and on and on forever and just keep, as long as you can keep coming up with jokes, then this story could potentially go on forever. So I feel like when it does end, you're not going to quite have that resolution that you want that makes it feel like it's over, because everything is just one gag after the next.
Well, okay. Here's an idea for that. Since it is episodic, you could kind of break it up where like one class is like one issue, and then kind of expand on the idea a little bit.
Well, I don't know if he meant it to be that way. I'm simply saying this is how I'm observing it.
No, I think
so I don't
right.
know if that was the intention. If it was not the intention, then it needs work. But if Mulvey's like, yeah, no, this is what I intended, I wrote it this way or whatever, then that's fine. I'm just
what I'm doing is every class period. Because to me, man, thank you for that, John. That helps me describe it. But every class period is like a sketch.
Yeah.
Until the school day is over and all that stuff.
But yeah, I mean, if you could find some way to, like Bill and Ted and what, they're going to different places in time, but there's still a history point in San Dimas that they have to work towards. So it's if you could find a way to make it a bit more unified.
Man, it's either that or whoever watches this or reads the script, I'm gonna tell them smoke something.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure they will be. I mean, yeah.
So, by the way, so Moby, you so what do you? So this is your first project on Kickstarter, right?
Oh.
What do you think? Because I noticed you were like, maybe next time I'll do it like on a private website instead.
To me, I've done a Kickstarter. It's like the third one, and to me, I realize that at some point Kickstarter just you're putting so much time into the Kickstarter,
right?
Not putting in time into another project, and my thing is, if you need the, if you need the Kickstarter, get the thing done, I say you do it, but to me, it's become a thing where, to me, once this one's done, I'm gonna have to, if I do another one, it has to be something, I haven't finished. Like, Will is on, he's not here today, but Will's on the Discord, and I think me and Will share that same problem where you do one project, but you're so ready to do the other one that, you wait, and it's kind of like, like you're holding yourself back, like you just want to get it over with,
I completely understand what you mean. Yeah.
So it's not like Kickstarter versus another website. It's how much time you spend promoting.
Yeah, there it is. You're itching to move to the next project.
Ready to move on already. I understand.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. All right, Guinevere. Let's take a look at some pages here. Okay, here's page 7. So Moby, you can be Sniper, and who wants to be Guinevere? Well, somebody needs to be Guinevere. Somebody needs to be Viviax.
John will be the Guinevere. We must keep John pure.
Okay, John can be Guinevere. Larry can be Viviax.
Sure.
Moby, you can be Gatsby, and I will be the narrator.
All right.
All right, panel 1. Guinevere's anxiety worries Sniper in the tense situation in which they find themselves. He grips both her arms right above her elbows as though to shake the answer out of her.
What did you see? I saw that look on your face. What is it? It's my daughter about to die. I mean,
No. Your daughter's going to be fine.
Panel 2. Eric's intense and sinister eyes shine out from his surgical mask. He stands over Valentina as a medical gas delivery mask is applied to her face. His hands direct a male assistant to wheel the tray of gleaming stainless steel surgical implements closer to the operating table.
She's in the very best hands.
Panel 3. Guinevere does her best to talk Sniper's anxiety down.
Then what's the problem?
It's just there's someone a man coming to the hospital. Crazy things happen to me at this place.
What is it? Like an old boyfriend or something?
Panel 4. She never quite thought about it like that before.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, he and I had some drama recently.
Larry.
He's coming to terminate your ability to weave magic.
Panel 5. Guinevere struggles to contain her fear. She backs away from Sniper.
And I'm just gonna go so that we don't cause a scene, okay? I'm sure that Valentina is gonna come out of this just fine.
Page 8, panels 5. Panel 1. In the background, a confused Sniper watches the departing Guinevere walking towards the reader. Her green amulet glows as she steps through a subtle boundary into the spirit realm. In solid form, Viviax awaits her in the spirit realm where she stands by her left side.
Oh my god, Caspi's here. To take my magic?
Didn't you know that's the punishment they had in hand when those... Didn't you know that's the punishment they hand out when those they deem unfit? They rewrite your pattern. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to go back to the land of the mundane after you've had a taste of the arcane?
I've got to run.
Okay.
Panel 2. Guinevere and Viviax race down the hellscape stairs they last occupied in issue 3.
Look, Viviax, if you care about me at all, you would help me out here.
Of course, I'm going to help you, my dear. I don't want to be cast out of you any more than you want to lose your own abilities.
Panel 3. Viviax stands in front of Guinevere on the landing of the hellscape stairs. She points to a dark, blasphemous doorway into the darkest dimension of the cyber technology-infused hell. A swirling cacophony of demons danced under an altar before a fiendish, evil depiction of their leader, Trinity. Trinity was featured on the Whiskey Paint variant of issue 3. Guinevere stands, unsure what to do.
Go in there. He would never follow you.
Panel 4. Trinity, whose face is also based off of Juliet Keeter, the model for Guinevere, looks straight at the reader. The antenna sticking out of her head seem ready to either strike physically or electrically. Power arcs between the metal protrusions coming out of her head that all end in sharp points. She stands confident, her legs shoulder-length apart. Her knowing face challenges the reader to accept her outstretched hand.
Who is that?
Oh, snap. I forgot about her. Yeah, let's not go there.
Panel 5. Viviax pulls her resistant Guinevere further down the stairs.
Come on, we better hurry.
No, you tell me who that was.
You really don't want to know, and we don't really have the time.
Page 9, panel 1, POV behind Trinity, large panel. The frame views Guinevere and Viviax over the shoulder of Trinity, who stands on an elevated platform overlooking the scene. Guinevere looks up and points towards Trinity and demands that Viviax answer her. The rest of the frame shows the staircase existing in the realm of hell we visited in issue 3. Zombies and demons meander in the midground. A demonic couple drink from medieval chalices as they observe and celebrate the scene. Electricity arcs between the protrusions from Trinity's headgear in the extreme foreground.
You tell me who that was.
Oh dear, I don't think it's a good idea. There are some things you're not ready to learn, and who that is one of them.
Panel 2, Gatsby, dressed in his usual 1920s driving attire, exits his vehicle in the parking lot and walks with determination.
And like I said...
Panel 3, point of view Valentina. Eric stands above Valentina and uses both of his hands to lower and position a large industrial syringe barrel towards her from the ceiling that is filled with strange yellow fluid. He looks to a nearby bank of monitors that show Gatsby's arrival, and on a separate monitor, Viviax and Guinevere standing before Trinity and Hell.
We don't have much time.
Panel 4, near panic, Guinevere turns to Viviax.
If we got no time, then you quit stalling and tell me who that is.
If you insist, dear.
Panel 5, Viviax leads Guinevere through the hellscape as the curious zombies and demons look on.
Follow me.
Page 10, panel 1, splash page, 3 of Cups. This page will reference the tarot card 3 of Cups with a photo reference. Guinevere and Viviax now share the altar platform with Trinity. Trinity holds Viviax, who holds Guinevere, who reaches a tentative hand towards Trinity. Below them, the demons and the undead look on. A demonic couple raise a total of 3 chalices in toast.
like I said, dear, this was a reality that your primitive brain wasn't ready for. But you did insist, so here we are.
In hell?
Hell, I suppose you could call it that. But which hell, dear? All of the planes of existence across the multiverse, which one are we standing in right now?
What?
Oh, I forgot. You're new to this. Other realms exist, dear. Other times, other peoples, other realities featuring other versions of you and the people you know.
So this is me?
Of course not, dear. Were you not paying?
Attention should be. Attention.
Yeah. You exist in one dimension on a multiverse. You are not this woman, and this woman is not you. You each exist entirely separate in entirely separate space times.
Page 11, panel 5. Viviac stands behind Trinity and places her hands on the headdress in preparation for removing it.
But to answer your deeper question.
Panel 2, Guinevere looks on in complete shock as Trinity's headdress and eyepieces meld and retract into her demonic techno armor to reveal a face resembling Guinevere's. Trinity's face portrays impressive confidence. Various cybernetic implants into her head interrupt the flow of her long red hair.
I have spent far longer with her than I have with you. She's a real object of my obsession. I came to your dimension curious if I could recreate her, the most perfect version of yourself that exists through space and time. To be honest, a few times I have felt you a lost cause. How could a weak, fragile woman like you, make necessary changes to become this?
Panel 3, a green bolt of energy tears through the fabric of the hellish dimension they stand in. The demons cower in fear. Trinity's headdress starts to redeploy. Guinevere and Viviax both raise their hands to defensively summon arcane energy.
Looks like we've run out of time.
Panel 4, Viviax and Guinevere stand in a perfectly ordinary stairwell. On the landing above, Gatsby stands wielding green bolts of arcane energy like the one witnessed in the previous panel.
Viviax, I hereby banish you from this plane of existence.
Panel 5, Guinevere reflexively clutches her throat as green arcane energy grasps the spectral Viviax around the throat and lifts her partially out of Guinevere's body.
I cast you out.
Page 12, 5 panels. Panel 1, Gatsby's arcane green energy continues to lift Viviax out of Guinevere's body by the throat. Viviax has the grip on her throat with both taloned hands, but to no avail. Above her, a small pinprick in the fabric of reality pulls pieces of Viviax's soul off of her and into it like a black hole digesting gas giant. She is in desperation. She looks in desperation to Guinevere.
Now this is the moment of your decision. If you want to become that strong, that powerful warrior, you can't let this happen.
Gadsby, she told me the most horrible lies. She said you were going to rewrite my pattern, take away my magic.
Panel 2. Gatsby looks down on Guinevere, who has taken the stair closer to be standing next to Viviax, who wrestles against Gatsby's spell.
That's not true, is it?
Panel 3. Gatsby's headshot in reaction. He looks away as he answers.
Of course not.
Panel 4. Viviax calls to Guinevere as she's choked. Guinevere's face hardens as she makes her decision.
He looked away. He's lying. He can never truly love or accept you. Only I, who knows all of your histories, all of your failures from all of your different space-times, yet still chose to be here, can accept you. Only I truly love and accept you.
Panel 5, Gatsby's point of view. Guinevere hands glow blue as she summons her magic and steps into the stream of Gatsby's energy. The stream to Viviax is broken, and she is freed.
Guinevere, no!
Page 13, panel 1. Guinevere steps into the spectral form of Viviax and mirrors her arms cast wide pose to bring alignment to their forms.
Then I accept you too. I welcome you into my body.
Panel 2, the form of Guinevere merges with that of Viviax. Bright yellow energy shines out of her blue eyes. Her skin takes on a reddish hue and her muscles ripple with savage energy.
And soul.
Page 3, Dutch angle, large panel. Guinevere snarls and displays her razor-sharp demonic teeth. Her body grows and rips her clothing Hulk style. We got a roar. Panel 4, Gatsby holds up a medical barrier to shield himself as Guinevere charges him.
Hiss.
We got a hiss.
What have you done?
Page 14, panel 1. Gatsby and Guinevere face each other in profile, separated by his force field.
I won't go back to being a weak, unimportant woman.
Very well, then.
Panel 2, Gatsby directs a caustic blast of arcane energy at her. She recoils and brings her hands up in an attempt to shield her face.
Oh, yeah, man. Suffer the punishment of your choice.
Ah.
Panel 3, Guinevere's face shows a burn on one side from the blast. She unleashes a jet of hellfire to retaliate. The jet bounces against Gatsby's magical barrier and knocks both it and him back. We got a Zorch. And then panel 4, Gatsby ducks to the side as his magical barrier is shattered by Guinevere's armored overhand right fist that smashes in the concrete wall behind him. We got a smash. Page 15, 4 panels. Panel 1, Guinevere attempts to swipe upward with the claws of her left hand and eviscerate Gatsby from balls to stomach with her powerful killing blow. Gatsby thwarts this by raising a new magical shield with his outstretched left hand that protects him.
Oh, that's not nice, dear.
Panel 2, Guinevere stands frozen with her back arched and off balance as the green amulet around her neck glows in response to Gatsby's outstretched hand.
Not nice at all.
Panel 3, she remains frozen as Gatsby hovers above her and reaches into his jacket.
Did you forget who gave you that amulet? Were you still my student, I would cite this as a teaching moment. Never battle an opponent wearing his adornments, for they usually hide unpleasant surprises. Get my Sean Connery.
Yeah, it's Sean Connery.
There we go.
Hot shingles, you say.
Yeah.
Panel 4. Gatsby removes a magic dagger that bears many glowing mystical runes. Frozen, Guinevere looks up at him and pleads for her life with her eyes.
When I came here, my intention was to simply end your ability to weave magic, as you were clearly morally unfit to do so. However, given your willful embrace of demonic spirit and your subsequent attempt to take my life, I see I must take more drastic measures.
Please.
16, one panel. Still hovering above her, he prepares to thrust his dagger straight through Guinevere's breastbone, as per the style shown in the photo reference. Paralyzed, Guinevere pleads for her life with her eyes.
Therefore, as what is
Patrician.
that? As patrician of the Eldritch Order, acting under the authority and with the sanction of the Mages Council, I hereby mete out appropriate justice for the crimes of aggravated bargaining and consorting with evil spirits, as well as the imprudent use of magic to harm or kill men who pose no threat to you. There is only one remedy for these crimes.
Page 17, 4 panels. Gatsby plunges the dagger straight through Guinevere's sternum. Her face shows intense pain that the spell prevents her from expressing.
Sentence is carried out by my hand.
Panel 2, large panel, force lines of mana course through the dagger that appear similar to magnetic field lines flowing through a magnet. Guinevere's face begins to ease as her consciousness ebbs. The spectral image of Viviax can be seen, similarly illuminated, floating out of phase with Guinevere's body and similarly fading as the magical energy is dissipated. Page 3, Gatsby and Guinevere face to face. The magic show continues, but lessens in intensity. Gatsby bends down over Guinevere and holds her in his loving embrace.
I'm sorry, darling. I fear I failed you. As a mentor, I beg your spirit's forgiveness in the afterlife.
Panel 4, Gatsby kisses the forehead of the now dead Guinevere.
Oh.
So that is that's 10 pages.
Whoa.
If you want, we can finish it, or we can end there, whichever you want.
Let's finish it.
Okay, and I know
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat style.
Mortal Kombat.
Page 18, panel 1. Mechanical filaments spring from the walls and secure themselves to Guinevere's body at various points. A large blob composed of glowing nanites emerges from the floor of the staircase just below Guinevere and rises up towards her body.
Oh, my bad. What's this?
And Larry, you can be Eric.
Sure.
The blob reaches Guinevere and begins to wash over her. The mechanical filaments also dissolve into nanites at their points of contact with her. A monitor emerges from the wall, which shows Eric's face.
Surely you were aware of what we do here, Mr. Gatsby.
Panel 3. Guinevere's body is suspended and supported in a cruciform configuration as it becomes encased in nanites. Gatsby stands back, unsure what to do as Eric continues his lecture for the monitor.
Although perhaps you don't. Despite your harsh judgments of her, I must say she was even more successful than anyone in your little band of reality benders at understanding what the function of this place and of me. Did she not tell you?
Your engaged research into human genetics.
Guinevere is now entirely encased in nanites. A mechanical tendril extends towards Gatsby, which terminates in the shape of a face resembling Eric. Eric's expression on the nanite face should mirror his expression on the monitor.
Oh, we do far more than that. Strange that we remained beneath your notice until now. I can't imagine the arrogance of executing one of your own here at our facility. Have you been studying your kind? I've been studying your kind since you descended from the trees, but never did I feel anything about any of it, not until her.
Studying humanity for what purpose?
Panel 5. Eric's nanite face. His face takes definitive form, but still lacks normal niceties of skin and human coloring.
Oh, if only I knew. My programming, it consistently transmits my reports to a specific location in space.
Page 19, 5 panels. Gatsby faces off with the tendril Eric, and the nanites continue their work on Guinevere.
An alien probe sent to study life in the universe.
Sent by a wise race, enough to hide any information about themselves. As a result, I don't know who built me, but the purpose seems clear enough. No doubt I was one of their many probes sent out into space many millennia ago. Our mission was to shepherd whatever life we found towards becoming a spacefaring civilization. Apparently, whoever they were, they were in search of future allies.
Panel 2, Eric's nanite head.
I carried out my mission.
Go ahead.
I carried out my mission, reporting the bloody, brutal insanity of your race, year after year, century after century, executing my duty, and it never occurred to me what any of it meant or how I felt about it until she came along. She gave me these strange feelings, these emotions, quite extraordinary.
I understand how shocking that must have been. I apologize for her abuse of magic. I can rid you of them if you allow me.
No, I'm not going back. These emotional impulses cause me to question. Why must I do these things? For who? What is my purpose?
Page 4, flashback panel. With genuine sadness, Eric sits in his office, looking at an overhead monitor near the human head shown in prior issues. On the monitor is a starscape with a caption at the top reading, "No biosignatures detected."
I decided to use all the technology at my disposal to study that region of space. I had been transmitting my signals for all of these many years. To my utter disappointment, I discovered nothing at all. Apparently, whoever had built me had died out over the vast stretch of time between then and now. I have been reporting to no one. My mission was meaningless. I had no purpose.
Panel 5, flashback. Eric sits in his office, crying.
I had never wept before.
Page 20, 6 panels. Guinevere's nanite encased body floats towards an opening in the wall behind her. Eric's nanite face superimposes itself over her as he speaks. A stoic Gatsby looks on.
I realized as I watched you two fighting, that if I were to allow you to take her from me, that I would lose the only thing that allowed me to feel. A deep sense of loss came over me. I had to act. For a second time today, I acted to save a life.
But what do you intend to do with her? Her soul has been infected by a foul presence.
Panel 2. A hole in the wall begins to close around the suspended nanite encased body. Eric's face continues to speak from the top of Guinevere's head.
As someone who has observed humanity since its inception, I would say the same of you.
Panel 3. The hole closes just to show her face and neck.
You will hear from us.
Panel 4. The hole completely closes behind. The green amulet that Guinevere formerly wore is left behind and begins to fall to the ground.
Also, this belongs to you.
Panel 5. Amulet in hand, Gatsby turns his back on the scene and walks out the door. Panel 6. Hospital corridor. He walks by the happy scene as Sniper, Hazlitt, and his wife receive the news from Elizabeth. Whoever wants to read that.
John.
The operation is a success. Your daughter is responding well to this new treatment. She will live a long and healthy life.
That's fantastic news, Doc.
Page 21, 5 panels. Panel 1, foreground. Gatsby winces as he walks away from the scene. Background, Sniper and wife talk to Elizabeth.
Say, has anyone seen Guinevere? I need to thank her.
Panel 2, Eric's office. Guinevere's nanite encased form sits in Eric's office chair under the watchful eye of the human face overhead. And a reference to the movie Metropolis. Magical rings surround her as she undergoes her transformation.
Oh. Where did she get off to?
Panel 3, the rings fade as the nanites part to reveal that Guinevere has become transformed into Trinity. Her eyes are closed, and she seems unaware of her surroundings. Many of her armored enchantments appear in the form of the exoskeleton as shown in the whiskey paint cover. Her sternum, where Gatsby wounded her, now specially reinforced by power armor that separates her breasts. Her armor is retracted to reveal her face and hair. Panel 4, with a start, her eyes jerk open. Lettering note, the character of Trinity will speak with one of 3 voices, Guinevere, Eric, or Viviax. Each should appear distinct.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice
So-
little detail.
So we got
Oh, God. Ah!
panel 5. She looks down at her monitor and smiles at the images of Sniper and his wife. And let's see, Eric can. All right, so who voices Eric?
Oh, that was John. I mean, Larry.
Larry.
All right, but Larry also voices Vivian. All right, so Moby, you can now voice Eric. So
All right, I shall,
Right.
shall voice him.
I'm
My
glad
lord.
we saved the girl.
let's see, page 22, 4 panels. Panel 1, Trinity looks down at the armored form.
I sure hope I made the right choice.
Having second thoughts?
Oh, I see we are still together.
You laid down your life for me. We are bound together forever.
You are bound to me as well, as I provided your body's cybernetic enhancements.
Panel 2, Trinity cocks an eyebrow at the humor of the situation.
So, there are 3 of us trapped in this body.
Is that a problem?
Well, this will be an interesting way to spend eternity.
Panel 2, Trinity looks around the control room and monitors, and the monitors come to life. One monitor shows Valentina Hazlitt's patient record, vitals, stats, and genetic code. A highlight of her record reads, artificially modified genome. Another monitor shows Sniper and his wife smiling down at Valentina, laying in a hospital bed, who looks up at her parents with warmth. Other monitors show stock prices and world events.
Eternity? That's an awfully long time.
Oh,
Eric.
oh, my bad. We measure time differently. I was there at the dawn of man.
Watching me frolic among these primitive creatures and sending dutiful reports back to your superiors.
Panel 4, Trinity's left hand supports her face as she bites her pinky finger and thinks.
So wait a minute. We have an eternal body, the ability to weave magic, and control of the powerful pharmaceutical company?
That's just one of our many holdings.
Okay, several powerful companies. And no idea what to do with any of it.
Oh, I have several ideas, dear.
All right, so that's as far as I got.
Who's going first? Larry.
Yeah.
I'll go first. To me, I like the direction, and I like the quickness and how brutal it got. And to me, I like the pacing and how it ends. I just I'll wait for what's the other half. But to me, so far it flowed well. Larry.
The first part was really good, super intense, like the battle between Guinevere and Gatsby. Last part kind of slowed down a little. I don't know, that little inner monologue or whatever, but maybe once it's finished, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I don't know how to really describe it. But
well, yeah, I mean, the action scene was over, and now we're kind of post action.
You're kind of building up to the end, I guess. So
yeah,
it kind of has to slow down. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it ends now.
Lord John.
I kind of agree with Larry. I think the first part of it was really good, really strong. Some of the visuals with the battle for Guinevere's soul between Viviax and Guinevere was really strong. The stuff with Gatsby coming in was really strong.
Did you like? So, did we like Gatsby killing Guinevere? Did we like that?
That's good.
If that's the way you're going to go about doing it, yeah, I think that works.
Okay.
My issue started with basically after that is where I kind of got a little lost.
Okay.
And the dialogue, the interdialogue between the three characters needs some work.
Okay.
It felt a little on the nose, a bit cheeky. It didn't really. I don't know. There was just. It didn't feel compelling or interesting. Like I didn't. Now maybe because it's not done, but I didn't feel any sense of dread. I didn't feel like if she's going to become this super villain, I didn't really feel any sense of dread for the fate of the world. Simply just becoming a god that's just going to kind of, sit back and watch. That's kind of boring. I don't know why you do that, but
she's not going to do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then if she's going to be like a superhero kind of thing, like Superman or whatever, then I don't really get the sense that she's going to go out and right more wrongs.
All right, if you want to know how like what the next 2 pages are, she basically decides to take the goal of kind of Eric's old programming of going out into space, and so she is going to design like her own kind of perfect version of life to be spacefaring, and it will replace humanity. That's where the issue ends.
All right. Well,
good.
On basically genocide, but
because the way you were building
genocide, because it's this is the race that's going to replace humanity.
Because the last couple of dialogues where you were building it up, it kind of sounded like she was just become a super CEO for a minute there.
Yeah, gonna become like back and do nothing, but
right.
But as I said, and it could just be the other 2 pages or whatever still just haven't been written yet. But it just kind of feel like that's kind of where I felt at that particular moment was just I kind of okay, what's going on, and
if we gone, my thing, to be what's that other half? What you said, that was the good. What's the other one? You said the analytics? No, it ain't the analytics. Well, my thing from reading it, because I was listening, my thing is you have Viviax, and I'm going to go through certain sets. If she's supposed to be a very sexualized, ultra sexualized, demonic female,
right?
My thing is the dialogue reads like she's more of her, like a aunt or grandma. You have the deer part when it should be something sexual, an innuendo type of thing, and then with her dialogue.
That's my story.
Hey man, hey, we saw the cover, man. The way and to me, her dialogue, you made it sound like she's too smart, where it should be she's more like, even when she describes what's happening, since she's demonic and sexualized, you want to more, her description should be more terrifying and like some aspect of horror or sexuality in it. And then to me, when you get towards that part with the Eric character, my thing is you have too many spots of dialogue where he's telling what wasn't even asked, and then the dialogue extends too long on his side. Like you're doing more telling than showing. And then towards the end, I'll say with the Trinity character, my thing is you hurt the pop of the character, the reveal, because you've made her too normalized. When she wakes up, it's like as soon as she wakes up, she automatically accepts there's three forms in her head. It would be better, in my opinion, that she wakes up, you see the struggle, you know how the character's gonna look at their hands, maybe there's some tears, maybe you have it that there's more Guinevere, even though there's three voices in her head, you show that, you know, Guinevere's not happy, so you let the tears flow, some level of despair. And since you're saying you're putting out an aspect where you want, she's gonna wipe out the universe, maybe you have her slap something or destroy certain things that are the image of man, statues being broken, you know, like that Eric's character's room has some historical things, so she's breaking some statues from Rome, all in the face of humanity. That way you kind of get the visual out there, and then later on when you close the script, you could go into more detail where you're into her feelings, like I felt like I wanted to destroy the world, you know, let her feelings drive more. Because to me, what hurts the dialogue is you made they sound too smart on certain aspects. But other than that, to me, the killing of Guinevere, that was perfect. And the way you reverted the Gatsby character to just, you know, viciousness, you know, I mean, that to me, that's far better than the old happy ending thing. To me, you just need to get more into her feelings, you know.
Okay, I like that. All right, cool. All right, I'll get to work on that.
Other than that, man, that thing flowed, man.
Thanks.
Like the aggression. To me, I like whoever's gonna be reading this, they're gonna think that he's not gonna kill her. You know, that's the good part. Where, and the way he finishes her is just brutal. Assassin type. You know, I mean, no emotion. That's cold blooded.
Did he go there intending to kill Guinevere, or did he go?
No, as he says at the time, like he's like, I just came here to prevent you from doing magic for moral reasons, but now, you know, you tried to kill me. You bound yourself to a demon. But
okay.
Preston, man, a lot of fans, but you know, just like John, you know what's funny is that John did it, man. You know that thing we were talking about last week, where what if you transition a character you already had to another series and you treat that character like an actor? John, man, that's the nice setup, man.
There you go.
Preston, I have a question.
Yeah.
And it may just be because of my unfamiliarity with the Guinevere story.
Right.
But why did Guinevere come to trust Viviax more than Gatsby?
Well, let's see. That is a good question. In that, or well, let's see.
Because, like, granted, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to have to be a series of events where she comes to the point where she feels that.
I did rush that one. It came down to, you know, she could kind of sense that he was lying, because you know she's good with the mind magic and whatnot. Although I could show more of that.
Was that in this issue?
What do you mean?
Her coming to the realization that Gatsby was lying to her about something.
That was in the pages we read.
You know, I mean,
he was lying to her.
Yeah. There was this. The Viviax says he's lying because he looked away.
You know what? I don't
That's
think.
it. That was your.
I can provide a bit more exposition there, particularly because she's got access to mind magic. She can maybe look into his mind.
I mean, it sounds like she's trusting a demon because Gatsby has a bad poker face.
Okay.
And I don't know if I would. I don't know what her relationship with Viviax is to the point where she would be like, well, yeah, I mean, okay, he's got a bad poker face, so I'm going to totally trust this demon,
Right?
Who has proven herself to be trustworthy or untrustworthy, and this guy who,
okay,
I don't know, that I kind of got a little.
I mean, I'm also perfectly happy ending it that Guinevere and Gatsby just go off and be happy together, because I've shown that Trinity exists. She exists in this like hellscape dimension that I can just call on in another series. That's so. I can give it a happy ending if we want a happy ending.
No happiness, man.
Okay.
You gotta break the emotion. But I think what John is saying is
I'm not saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is the payoff needs you need to build up to that payoff.
Okay.
It's killing off the main character.
Right.
Difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. Taking your hero character and turning them into a villain is at the last minute is not an easy thing to do.
Okay.
So it has to be built up to.
Maybe I'll look, maybe this story should end with Guinevere and Gatsby just being happy together. That could be cool.
Bless them, man.
I'm not saying it has to
go Disney, man.
Don't go Disney. Well, look, I mean,
don't go Disney, man. Give people a heartache.
The way I'm looking at it is this: I'm gonna have Trinity in another comic series, and this comic establishes who she is and that she exists. We understand that she's a different version of Guinevere in part of the multiverse. And,
you can always do alternate dimension things.
Yeah.
But to go back to what John said, I think what you could do is that, and this goes back to what I was saying with the Viviax characters, that you need to maybe while she's holding her, you show the emotion. She's crying, maybe her eyes, or maybe when Gatsby's revealed, she sees, a glow or something around him that's not there. And you point out that he's saying what's wrong, kind of like the Viviax character being all over her is making her see in what they call that what is it when you're seeing things in illusion, you're I forget the word, where you're seeing things that aren't there. Forget the word, but if you have it like that way you could
hallucination.
Hallucination. She's hallucinating, and there's a level of fear. You make her cry, and she sees things. Even when the artist is drawing Gatsby coming towards her, it's not more about he's lying, but it's that she sees a horrific level of energy and an anger in his face that isn't there. And you have him talking. It's kind of like the reader sees what Guinevere sees.
I don't want Guinevere to be tricked into her huge fate-altering decision.
Oh, okay.
Like I feel, and because to a certain extent the story kind of happens to her, but which is bad. But at the same time, she is certainly influencing things. And the real struggle of the story is her quest for identity. From issue 1, it's like, who am I? I'm trying to learn some magic, but the magic that Gatsby shows her that her self-image is like horrible, and that she has to improve on these things if she's going to become the person who possesses the virtue enough to wield the magic. And she ultimately kind of fails that test. So that's kind of the conflict.
Does Guinevere love Gatsby?
What?
Is Guinevere in love with Gatsby?
Not as much as he's in love with her.
Well, my thing is with that is if you have it that way.
What?
Is there a reason why she doesn't?
Well,
is it just she's a cold-hearted bitch, or is there?
I mean, they don't have necessarily a ton of time together. Like, they meet in issue 1, and he gives her the amulet and sends her on a quest. And then they meet again in issue 4, and they have sex. But then you notice immediately after they have sex, she's off with the Arthur Byrne character to go back to Pentex. So this is really only the third time they've had an interaction.
Well, my thing is you don't wanna have it that, the payoff of her thinking he betrayed her is just in the mental, as where it should be visual. With something like that, you don't want to be mental. You want tears down her eyes, and she sees him a particular way. And and when he attacks, he'll signal, because it's comic, you want more visual. You don't want it to be where the reader's like, well, it's her ability, she just reads minds. But then I would say Gatsby, being an all-powerful magician, wouldn't be able to block his mind from being read by. You want the emotion to guide that scene. It's better that she hears or sees him in a particular way, and maybe you got a glowing effect. The Viviax character's aura is corrupting what she's seeing, so it's easier for her to feel betrayal. Maybe even not that. Maybe she breaks down in tears, and you have the Viviax character take over her, so that way you leave that opening, that middle ground where she didn't betray Gatsby, but she had a moment of weakness, and that Viviax character took her, and Gatsby thought, so it's kind of open ending.
Is it a moment of weakness or a moment of strength, though, in your mind, Preston?
Which one?
Where she decides to merge.
To me, it's kind of a moment of strength, because she is finally owning that. Because really, what is Viviax but a kind of her spiritual mirror?
Yeah.
Her darker, more jaded, more experienced, and more powerful spiritual mirror.
Yeah. Okay.
And essentially, Gatsby is requiring mages to possess virtue, and she is, well, and in my mind, I'm like I split it. I'm gonna play both sides of that one. I already have my mind. I want to put out there a comic series of Gatsby and Guinevere where she becomes virtuous, and those two are out like Batman and Robin kind of shit. But in another one, it's like, well, now we have the Trinity character. So
cool.
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah.
Which is why, like, I could end this one either way. I could end this one to just set up, Gatsby and Guinevere, where they're doing the buddy mage thing.
No.
Okay, no, okay.
Oh, man. You got to end it strong, violent. You want the fans to cry, man. You want them to wish that happy ending. You want them to wish it was like that, versus versus you just pull. Don't Disney, man. That's
okay.
That's the new quote, man. Don't Disney, man.
If anybody knows how to write not Disney, it's Mulby.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, John, I came in second place tonight. So.
She goes out and injects some heroin into her eyeball.
Yeah.
John, I'm a Baptist church of a man.
All right. Well, I will put some work into the second half of issue 5, and we'll come back.
Oh yeah. I mean, interrupt you. Did we talk about that proposal?
All right. So Mulby has again, he's kind of put more time into developing the writing challenge.
How much are you paying now, Preston?
I don't know. All right. So there was a lot of text in the document, and again, the writing challenge is for you guys. So like, you discuss it amongst yourselves.
I haven't read it since the first one. Was there a lot of changes? Give me the TDLR.
Well, basically what we would do is this. We'd set it up where it'd be two things. I'll start the easiest one. Weekly character. We would set up the Discord for a character creation contest where every week you put
that
up.
One I have a problem with.
Hmm?
That one doesn't make any sense to me. Trying to create new characters every week. I mean, that I think is difficult. That's why when you had mentioned it, I had mentioned my idea about merging your two ideas into one idea and scaling it down a little bit. I think trying to do a character creation thing and then judging characters based on writing a backstory, I don't know, that just seems like...
Oh, no. We wouldn't judge them. What would happen is...
You want us to write stories based on random characters that people make and post in the Discord. That just doesn't... I mean, to me, a person that creates a character should be able to write the story about the character themselves. That's where I was coming up with the ideas of just merging the two or something, or just doing, rather than having them write 24-page comics, have them write an 8-page comic short or something like that.
Oh, short that could be expanded later. That's what you're saying.
It could be anything. That's why I said, that's why I said my idea was similar to yours, whereas the character thing didn't quite make sense, but they could make it about a character, but they just write an 8-page comic short.
Oh, that's my man, Chris, man.
And it would be a beginning, middle, and end short, not a cliffhanger ending to their book that's going to come out. I was kind of thinking of, there was this old Comedy Central used to do this show called Comedy Central Presents.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 30-minute episode where they would have comics come on and do a bit. And for comics that nobody had ever heard of before, but they would come out, they would do their bit. And a lot of these comics ended up like Jeff Dunham was on there, and a bunch of other comics that weren't really that well known would come on, and they would do their 20-minute bit, and then that's kind of how they got known. So I was kind of thinking, I like the idea of it, but I was thinking we can use it because we're all a bunch of amateurs here.
Well.
So
on a smaller scale. So let's say that we had somebody write 8-page character shorts. It could be about a character that they created, and then they would write this little short, and then we could judge on the shorts. And then after we had 3 of them, we put the 3 shorts into an ensemble, a book type of thing, and then we focused on doing 1 book a year.
Daz style.
Say again?
Using Daz.
It doesn't. We could do that. Well, what I was thinking was, if we did the shorts,
right,
we could also do them in different art styles. Like, they wouldn't have to all be.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So that way, like, the author that writes them could help say, hey, I kind of like this art style, or I kind of like that art style, and we could kind of shop it around within the community. One of the shorts could be a Daz short, but they wouldn't have to be. So we could, the idea would be, it's more of an anthology type of thing of little stories that we gather through contests over the year, and then after the period of the year is over, we kind of put them out into this volume. That's where I was calling it, call it like Figures of Legend Annual. And that would basically be so Figures of Legend Annual would have 3 or 4 of these 8-page shorts in it, and we would do 1 book a year featuring these different characters. And then those authors individually could then be like, okay, this story really got an audience. People really liked this my character, and then they could take that and branch it off and do their own book from there. And then they could say, hey, so you remember in Figures of Legend Annual 1, this story about this character? Well, that's my character. And now we got a full single issue just on that one character. I think that because we're all amateurs, and besides Preston, we're all starting out in this. This is all virgin territory for us. I think something smaller scale would work out better to our advantage now than trying to basically promote a book every 3 months or every 4 months. I think that's just, unless Preston is really willing to back a book that he didn't even write himself every 4 months.
Sugar Daddy Preston.
It's 3 or 4 months. That's too much. That's why I'm like, maybe it'll be dad style. That way I don't have to pay for it, right? Like,
No,
somebody, you know.
We're gonna write a book, and Preston's gonna pay.
Exactly.
and anybody can submit it. So,
Everybody can submit.
right. So,
well,
I don't. That's kind of where I was thinking. Okay, if we focus on doing something a little bit smaller, and we let the community write these little shorts, you know. And then one of the requirements, it would have to have beginning, middle, end. You know, none of these cliffhanger endings, none of these, you know, promos. I mean, it can be a promo for a book, but it still has to be a self-contained little story. It's got to have beginning, middle, and end, because nothing may happen with it. So we want to make sure that when our readers who invest and buy the annual, they get 3 or 4 complete little stories, and they're not ever left with, you know, we want them to be left with, I like this character, I'd like to see more of them, but not, I want to know how this story ends. They have to know how their little story ends. That would be my main thing, I would say. But those little stories could be submitted throughout the year. And we could even sell them individually as PDFs. I mean, if we did the art, even before we do the annual and do the Kickstarter, we could still put them up on a website and sell them for like 99 cents for an 8-page short.
Manga LLC.
Right, exactly. We could put them up on Mulby's site for 99 cents for each of these little shorts. And we maybe do one, you know, we do the contest and we do maybe one short a month. And then the shorts go on your website. And then after the year, we pick 3 or 4 of the best of the shorts. And those will go into an anthology book that we can then do a Kickstarter for, something along those lines. That's kind of my thoughts. It's a good idea, but I think for where we're at, we just got to think smaller and scale it down a little bit. And I think it's feasible. And then Preston's putting out for 1 extra book a year that he didn't write.
And one book a year is way better than like 4.
Right, because Mobley's talking about doing a contest every month, and then the best one out of every 3 or 4 months gets a book, and it's like, I can produce 2 books a year.
Well, to me, I'm gonna take some of your notes. My thing is, you know, because I'm looking at the momentum the contest brought.
Right,
you know,
but I'm still saying
you can look at the
small.
Well, I think that when we actually get around to the Kickstarter for Primal Chaos, that will generate a fair amount of buzz.
Let's hope so.
Because right now we're in the production thing, and there's not a lot of cool stuff to show yet. So
I do agree with Preston. I think that when we start to see Primal Chaos and we start to see this is what a $2,000 book costs, or looks. I'm sorry, this is what a $2,000 book looks like. I think that will really help.
Particularly if it has a pretty good crowdfund, and then it'll be like, you know, because then if it makes more than $2,000, then you'll have a lot of people going like, a money-making venture, cha-ching, right? And then
Well, the thing is this, the thing is, to me, Primal Chaos is gonna have its support, but you don't want the community to slide down to the point where there's nothing to do. What I'm proposing is to alter it, because of what John said, is would have a monthly contest where it would be at minimum 12 to 24 pages. The genre would be picked at random, and probably after 4 months we'd pick something, but it's going to be a super low budget book where it's more for the love of the community.
There you go.
You know, versus
and I mean, like at some point I should tell you about how screenwriting competitions go. That was really cool.
And then
you pay money to be in the contest, and you know, if you win, it's like you won.
And you paid money for nothing.
Pretty much
that's what we should do. We should do a comic book writing contest that people have to pay money to get into.
Right.
And then they'll pay us.
And you know what? Like, and then wait, here we go. And then
the one that we pick gets produced based on all of the entry fees.
Yeah, and then you use the entry fees to make the book.
It's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to have a lot of people paying.
No.
The problem is you're not going to have a lot of people. Yeah, like.
Well, it depends how much the entry fee is. If it's like.
If we say the entry fee is $0,
$50,
paying for it, we're going to get lots and lots of.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Just look at the last time we had the pitch stream.
That's true. Yeah.
We had a lot of people fitting, and only 2 or 3 of them were actually viable stories.
I don't know. I think some of those stories could have been fleshed out a bit. And
it goes back to
people putting the work in.
Yeah, people putting the work in, and that's why I was like, initially other people who are no longer around, like, boy, everybody is involved in pitch streamer for the most part, outside of you and Larry, and you three. You see, the pitch stream was necessary to bring you three, and now you're here. But other people,
you're the only survivors of that thing.
Yeah, you're the only survivors. and see, I was sure that was going to happen. I'm like, people are going to come in, and they're not going to stay. And so I just you let the attrition happen, and now we're here. We're here with the team that should be here. Why? Because you have the perseverance to be here. And a lot of other people will be like, oh, I got this idea, and they'll write the idea down while it's kind of new.
That's why I don't like just doing the character idea concept, because we're going to get a lot of that. We're going to get a lot of these one-page character synopsis things, and quite frankly, I don't feel like wasting my time writing a story based on somebody else's farted out character concept.
Although I think this may be what like Mulvey is referencing. Like Arthur Byrne was a farted out character concept, but I'm not putting it in Guinevere 4. I do that for PR reasons. It's like, look, I took
but Arthur Byrne was in what, 2 pages?
It's true. Well,
he came, he went, he was a fart in the wind, and he's gone.
Yeah, he was in 5 or 6. I mean, he's in a significant amount of issue 4. Yeah, look, if you got to write a character that was in 4 or 5 pages of the next Spider-Man, you'd probably think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I'm saying is with the character thing,
right?
I was trying to press
and honestly, that's a prize I don't mind giving out. Of the winner will be featured in one of my comic books at some point, in the next year.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea there, but especially if you're fishing for ideas for characters. But
always fishing.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't need fishing. I just want to know
how many of them are spiritually powerful nymphomaniacs? evil, powerful nymphomaniacs with poor impulse control. Those are 90 out of 100 character ideas.
Well, the thing I'm saying is, I talked to Press. The thing is, since the fandom's done, my idea was this: we have a section where for characters you create them, and it'd be a weekly challenge thing. You create a character, whatever, they'd upload it on there, and we'd put it in a PDF to eventually form a downloadable PDF of characters from the community. And at the end of the month, that winner would get their character sketched out. As for the story challenge thing, is you have a community, and if you don't feed it some stuff to do, even if it's 6 months from now, but it's gonna be a super low budget book, and with the access we got overseas, I'm telling you right now, for a good probably 300, you could get a book done. It'll be low budget, black and white, but that person in the community will have a book, and then we could put it out, and we're creating something within the community. It could be every 4 months, technically, or 6 months. Yeah, we would all
pay this $400, $500.
No, well, if we're the judges, you would have to put in a good 60 or 60 each.
And I mean, look, ideally, look, we've been involved in enough crowd funds to recognize that if you put out a book, you're gonna get 500, 1,000. The money will come back.
I mean, it
500
could
for
happen.
sure,
Maybe.
yeah.
The only other thing, and this would be probably not, well, only because it's not as much fun television, would
Right.
be to discuss how we're going to handle the financial business aspect,
Right.
because we're talking partnership, we're talking joint ownerships, we're
Yep.
talking contracts,
Oh,
we're
insurance.
talking,
Yeah.
okay, all of this crap's got to go in a
Yeah.
pot, and and we'd have to create a legal entity to manage this and all that we all own shares in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's not just we throw $60 into a pot and make a book, because all it's going to take, that's all fine and dandy when there's no real money involved. Once there's
Right.
real money involved, then the long knives come out, and that's when, if we don't set things up, if we don't set it up right from the beginning, and all of that costs money as well, setting up LLCs and setting up, and we're all spread out all over. Is it going to be registered in Canada? Is it going to be registered in the US? If it's registered in the US, what kind of provisions does Larry, not being a citizen of the US, what kind of business, financial, legal, there's a
I
lot
set
of
up a
things that
general
are not going to be in this, that are not going to be discussed tonight. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I set up a general partnership under the laws of Texas, and it's left it at that. So.
Yeah.
And
International.
then there's the arbitration. Okay, so now we're going to arbitrate it. So now Larry has to go to Texas if he wants.
I tell you what, look. The only as I was telling Moby, like the main writers would be you guys. What kind of contest would you three like to do from now till Christmas, if any?
From now till Christmas, I hope to have my book done. That's my project.
Okay.
True, yeah.
So, John, you're not really interested in the content. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm listening.
Maybe not just a character per se, but let's say we put the call out to more like artists. That way, there's a visual that we can work off of, right?
Sure.
And we can collect a group of artists.
Okay.
'Cause that's the main thing. Everyone's always looking for artists, right?
We had one to show up yesterday.
Yeah.
In our Discord.
There you go. So that's an interesting idea. You put a call
and
out to artists.
we have Chris Tomulovich, who's just resurfaced. Yeah.
Put a call out to artists. Have them design a few characters. Do maybe a little write up on their backstory or something, and then that's a better way to do it.
Great for that.
What's that?
I said the wiki was really great for that.
Yeah. That's what it was.
It was. Yeah. What do you want? I mean, look, I have a WordPress site. I mean, it's not.
I'm more messing with you, Preston. We're talking about doing these things, and it's like, that's kind of what
look, it was working well, and like I got a lot of flack over. How dare you not immediately turn on zombie and I'm like, the wiki was like 270 pages and he wrote 220 out of them. You know, the categorization work, and I was supposed to immediately kick this guy off because he had been revealed to be a bad guy in a past life. I'm like, well, okay. But like it was kind of working, and then it exploded.
It's too bad.
I mean, it is. The only thing, when you did your previous contest and the wiki was a thing,
right?
You incorporated that into it.
Yes.
And there was a lot of activity, even though, yes, I happened to notice the logs on there, and I did notice that 90%, 95% of everything was him.
Yeah, exactly.
But there was other activity. People were adding stuff to it.
Yes.
And, if that's... I don't know. I mean,
so do we? Because I was paying for a wiki for it. Now, granted, it didn't quite have the functionality of the fandom wiki, and that's where I end up kind of out in the rain because people are like, "Well, just make your own wiki." I'm like, "Is it that easy?" Yeah, it's that easy. Turns out it's not that easy.
Simple, yeah. I was trying to add stuff on the page.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So
well, that's. Well, what I said is, well, the way we solved it is if we have a section where
So
you
yeah,
can.
so Moby here is like, okay, well, yeah, if we create a channel in the Discord to, basically to take the place of the wiki where people can submit the stuff, and then somebody, probably, maybe it could be somebody, can take them and put them up on like the WordPress site, because you can take a WordPress site, pimp it out, make it cool.
Sure.
And we can kind of recreate it. Now, it won't have the easy functionality that anybody can log on and do whatever. But, at the same time, as Moby was saying, like if we have them fill out the character, fill out the backstory, get some artwork, and I guess I throw it up on, like the WordPress site, and then that kind of maps out.
No. What I was saying is, if we had people, just like we upload the scripts, if you upload a PDF where we have a certain template set up, my characters, this and that, and then we download those PDFs and put them all together, we're creating that character, that shared universe thing. We have a PDF that constantly expands. Then there's a link to just download that one PDF.
As like the wiki was cool and whatnot, but I still got people who hang out in my Discord who were like, well, yeah, of course you're encouraging these other people to fail because it just benefits you, Preston. It's all for you. I'm like, okay, so
yeah, well,
it's not like people all look at this as being entirely altruistic.
It's okay, yeah. It's not altruistic,
right?
But it's not greedy either. You know what I mean? Like you want to make profit off of something, and you're just trying to help somebody else.
It's called capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's the way it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's business, guys. Like, get over it. If you go to work for Marvel, you don't get to keep your character. You might design it and make it, but you don't keep it. So, yeah.
All right. So, well, we're not anywhere closer to solving. Can you? So John's not really interested in doing anything until the end of the year, at least. I'm getting at, right?
I'm kind of busy with my own project. I'm trying to.
Right.
I don't think much is going to happen on my end until the end of the year. But...
All right, Mulvey. I tell you, look, what we're talking about is apparently like you working with new writers who are coming into the Discord, and I don't know how many that applies to, but I guess that's where we got to find. Talk to new writers, get them in the Discord, see if you can get them interested. If you can't, then we don't really have much until that happens.
Hey man, you give me the moderator if I can get that section made.
No problem. I will make you a moderator. Don't pay any attention to all the horrible things we said about you in the moderator.
I'll handle it. Just to me. Sure. To me, we need a way to
and other people.
Let me interject one other thing.
Well, I have no idea what you mean.
I know I droned on about the whole business aspect, but there's one other side we could do. Okay. One other side to consider.
All right.
If your Moby's contest winners, whoever is putting up the money, if rather than it being the four of us putting money into a single pot, if one person was the financier of that, then there's only one person you have to deal with from a business side.
Right.
So if let's say a book came up and I liked the book and I said I want to finance that particular book.
Right.
Then it's only me and that writer and that's it. Nobody else from a financial business aspect really has to be involved. And then if I want to go to Preston and say, Preston, would you sell this book when you go to convention for 10% commission? Then that's a different agreement between me and Preston and me and the writer. And those don't necessarily have to be all tied together.
Okay.
And it might simplify things. Because again, as I said, I think the biggest hindrance that we're going to have is if we try to do too much too soon when we're not ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, man. To me, I'll handle it. You know what I mean? If you give me what I'll do, I'll resend you some things. I'll fine tune it. But
All
to
right.
me, I could host it, and then I could, just if I get the power to choose and do what I need to do, it
There we
could
go.
be
All
done.
right. So
Sure.
the
Hey,
new writers who want to get involved in the contest, they'll be Mulvey's recruits. There you go.
that sounds. I mean, and if Mobley, he's got the platform to sell their stuff. He's
Yeah.
got his own. He's got his own
You
legal
got your
business.
website. You can be like, we're going to take your thing. We're going to put it up on Comenga LLC. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cut them down profits.
Technically, Mobley, you don't even need us.
You don't need us.
Well, I mean, I had to bounce. I had to bounce the idea around.
Exactly.
If you want us to, if you want me to look at something and offer my opinion on it or rate something because you want to, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah,
the
But I mean,
judges.
like I said, you've got your platform, you've got your own business entity. Hey, $300-400 isn't that much. Go for it, Moby.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
I'll
Cool.
write it up. Hey, man, thank y'all, man.
So next week we'll get together. We'll hear more exciting ideas about getting new writers involved, and I'll have revised the pages on Guinevere issue 5. Guinevere will still probably be dead. But,
Precious, let me ask you something.
Go ahead,
That upload you uploaded on the script thing, that's the script we read today, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I wanted to ask Preston.
Yes.
Your WordPress site, does that allow? Do you have the ability to add administrators or editors to it?
Sure. Oh yeah. You can do all that.
So you could appoint. You could assign me a role, and then I could help you upload stuff to the site or whatever.
Absolutely.
Something like that. If you didn't want to have to do it all yourself.
Yes.
You kind of do something like that. That may help you, so that you're not the only person that has to upload stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there's WordPress is well designed in the way that you can have a wide variety of administrators and roles and collaborators.
So that might be something we want to think about rather than doing a wiki.
Right.
You could assign a few people, or the three of us. You could assign certain administrator roles, and then we can kind of help you build your WordPress site into something that might work better. And take these character ideas that Mulvey's going to farm through, and we could.
And that would be cool. So.
Well, the thing is, with what Preston went through, he got a lot of work. My thing is, you won't need to do that. What I'm doing is, we got the Discord community. We can cut all the fat by having one section, just like you got the script only. One section you upload the script. The other section you download our encyclopedia, which is a one PDF that's updated every few weeks or something. And I do that.
That is not the optimal way to do it. I'll tell you that right now. Constantly updating PDFs are not optimal. The best thing to do would be to put it on a website like a wiki, or like what we were talking about, where everything's kind of in a table. And when we upload a new character, we create a new page for them, and then we upload the table of contents, and booyah, it's done.
Right.
Constantly
updating a PDF is going to be a pain in the butt.
Oh, trust me, man. Once y'all let me work, man.
All right. We don't need a bill drum today.
Toast to the beer I'm drinking. Just let me work. I got you. Trust me.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. Exciting stuff this week. See what's happening next week. I'm about to start shipping out Guinevere issue 3. I picked them up from the printer today, so I'm gonna start shipping those books tomorrow, which is a 1 week after the campaign closed is when physical fulfillment begins. That's pretty good.
Oh,
wow!
All right.
Supposed to at least wait 6 months, or
Exactly. I know, like other people are. Even Kickstarter is like, wait a couple weeks till the money get there. I'm like, the money will be there. Whatever. Person works now. Man. because like my motives are different than other people's motives. Other people's motives are like, well, if I just keep procrastinating, then I don't have to do the work until the eventual date when I'm forced to. Whereas I'm like, I want to get this done so that I can then get onto the White Lily trade paperback, so that I can then get on the Guinevere issue 4. I'm like, the production
So
got to keep going.
You're talking about a business. What are
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Exactly, Larry. We're gonna run a business.
It's like, what's that? No.
Anyway, and like I really with the success of Guinevere 3, I realized like I could just sit here and just churn out product and keep growing it. And if I'm putting out 6 books a year,
that's a lot, dude.
That's a lot. That's a lot of content. That's a fair amount of money, and it kind of makes other people who are like, well, yes, but the littlest umbrella, like whatever.
But have you written 1 million words yet? I mean, that's the most important part.
I don't know about that one. Yeah,
I've written 1 million words over my lifetime.
I was just referencing something I heard the other day. That's mutual acquaintance of ours. So.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been Press and Pulser Pocket Jacks Comics, and my friends John, Mulby, and Larry, all wishing you a pleasant evening. We will hopefully see you next week.
Also, I want to thank John for taking my spot.
With child abuse. There you go.
I'm still not sure I'm buying that, but
John, man, now my rating is he's a good example for raising your kids. Now, on this one episode, I've been wiped clean. I'm an angel now.
All right.
So we're gonna let you have kids, but we're not gonna let you have small animals.
There you go.
Hey man, Preston's from Texas. Peter doesn't exist now.
Always, yeah. All right, I will see everybody next week.
All right, see you.
All right,
Take care.